for you. We know you are scared. Here at Regenerist Tech we have developed a safe and effective solution to our worldwide problem. Trust Regenerist. We give you back your life.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
It's Miss Jen and Hannah.
Yeah.
Here for a minute to skim it. It is an amazing day outside. I hope it is nice where you live. Today it's humid, but
yeah,
it's still nice out there. Super excited about new comic books for tomorrow for you guys. Welcome to the experience. We're going to take you through some of our favorites. If you ever wonder how in the world we pick what we pick each week, how do you pick what you pick, Hannah?
Well, I know I'm going to read all the DC.
Yep.
Because I really like the DC. But then, you know, like, a lot of times if it's like something that I've seen, whether it's in previews or something maybe I saw on Twitter, like if it's a creator that I have interacted with, that's usually one that I like to pick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of go
Unless
through it.
you pick them first.
That's true. I get to go pick. That's probably a little bit.
Yeah.
I try to pick all the number ones because I know that's what everyone's interested in.
Right.
What's all the new things. And then I also you'll see from me, if you see me reading number 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, or whatever of them.
4 or 6.
Yep. Then you know it's something I love. Hi, Michelle.
Yeah.
I did see your message. I will answer it after the show. I was busy reading for review. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get started. This is a spoiler-free review. So we're totally going to make sure that we're not spoiling all the things so that you can still enjoy the books. And also, while you're hanging out with us today, if you could like and share and ring the bell and all those fun things so other people can find this review show. Mm-hmm. We want to help them out so that when they go to their local comic shop tomorrow, they'll know what to pick up. It won't be a mystery to them. All right. This is one of those books, like the first book, I knew that I liked it and I was hooked. And now I'm super hooked. This is Nonstop Spider-Man number 2. So in the first issue of this book, there is a weird drug that appears on the scene that people basically are overdosing on. It seems to have hit like on the college scene. Parker is aware of it, and one of his friends succumbs at the very end of the first issue. tries some of this drug or is forced into this drug. It's unclear how people are getting a hold of those drugs and why they're taking them.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that they don't know that they're taking them, because in this issue, it narrows down who is taking it and what's happening to them, why it is taking them down, and what it's really doing to them that is being used by, there's always a bad guy, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good superhero book. And in this case, you kind of maybe not see who the exact bad guy is, but you get to see what their gameplay is with what they're using. So, and in this universe, Spidey is kind of, I don't know, I like him a lot, the way that he is. Yeah, I like him a lot. And because there's another Spider-Man book that's also out this week, in which you'll see another kind of like look at Peter Parker, which is another cool one. That's a one's a what if, though. I might as well do that one since I had so many more books on the wall here.
Yeah.
I see Ronnie. Hello. This is Spider-Man Spider's Shadow, which, secretly is this. It says what if way over here in the corner in little bitties. So just so that you know, it's what if. It's not the way the main continuity is going to go. Although this would be a cool exploration to have this continue, because it's a what if that I thought they had done before. It's like, what if Spider-Man or Peter Parker had kept the symbiote?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they haven't, because they're exploring it now.
Mm-hmm.
But it really kind of goes through the whole, like, what would Pete's life be like if he just kept the black suit? And that he then didn't have the suit go to Eddie Brock, who paired together, they become Venom, which is one of his main nemesises for a long time. So you lose a nemesis for one, and then it's just you. And how would that affect his everyday life? Who would, he's always had some women in his life, like Gwen, Mary Jane, Black Cat. There's been people in his life. So with the influence of the black suit, who would be in his life then, and who as bad guys would be in his life, because it won't be Venom, right?
Right.
So I really loved it. And I think it's not just this is a one and done. I thought it had a continuation, but I'm not 100% certain about that. But I really liked where it's going. I hope they keep moving forward with this what if storyline. Kind of hope it kind of has its own universe, like they did with Spider-Man, that they did with the J.J. Abrams and Ben Abrams stuff. That was really good. What do you choose?
I'm going to do Wonder Woman first. So, Wonder Woman,
He starts
771. So in Wonder Woman 770, it's brand new storyline. This is the continuation of that. And she is in the first issue, we see her interacting with the Norse pantheon.
Okay.
And so at the end of the first part of this series, of this storyline, in the last issue, we see her and Thor. And something weird is going on, and had been going on, but it doesn't seem like the gods know.
No.
Or at least it seems like not all of them know.
Mm-hmm.
So in this issue, it picks right up where they left off. And yes, her talking squirrel friend is back. He's
so
adorable. He's adorable. And that's all I'm going to say about it, other than, yes, the snake definitely appears in this book. And yeah, it's big, ginormous stakes are pretty scary, even to Wonder Woman a little bit. And then there's the second story in it, The Adventures of Young Diana, which I love so much. I really hope that when they do a trade of it, it'll be its own book, because that one I would definitely say is okay for the youngins. And honestly, I would say even just the regular Wonder Woman series is okay for some of the younger kiddos. It's just a little bit violent, but there's no language in it. So,
Well, that's kind of cool.
yeah, it's definitely what I would have loved to have read as a kid.
All right, I was so looking forward to where this was going. White Lily, number 2.
Yes.
Red 5. Mr. Starnes is in the house, so he'll be happy to hear that I loved it. Really is the tale. It feels like it's taken straight out of reality, which I'm sure it is, about a woman who is kind of conscripted into, it's like the Russian Air Force. I don't know what it's called. And this is like, that happened last issue. And now this is her kind of like, she has just bested one of the other male pilots in some kind of training exercise. And this is them kind of hanging out at the bar afterwards, and their interactions now, you know how pilots are, right? They're all full of hormones and piss and vinegar. So this is kind of their interactions, like what happens when you put, you know, female airplane or, you know, airplane pilots in the middle of a war time, but way earlier than you're used to thinking about them being, you know, integrated, I guess, into the same force. There's some weird love triangle stuff going on, and then there's some such epic war time battling when they actually get called up to do active stuff instead of just pretend around and practice, and it's really awesome. But the interesting thing about this book is at the end it's dedicated to the penciler, because the penciler unexpectedly passed. So that was kind of a shock. I went back and re-looked at it all, actually, with a fresh eye to see, you know, like this is the culmination of their life's work. So support this book in the memory of this sweet gentleman who passed, and can draw an awesome plane, man. That is not an easy task to do, you know, a bunch of flying things. You could tell in his work that he loved it. He's a really good study of like people's faces, and yeah, he did great. We're really sad that he's gone, but man, he left us a great legacy.
Do the Joker.
The Joker. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Bob.
Joker number 2. So, in the first issue, former Commissioner Gordon, because he's now retired, right? We knew that. He was approached by a young woman to find, because the Joker, after the Joker War, you know, attacked Arkham and then ran away.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been hired to track down the Joker and to kill him. And the first issue, he's struggling with whether or not he's going to take the job. And then we saw that he had decided that he's going to track down the Joker, but he wasn't going to say no to killing the Joker in the end of the first issue. So of course, you know, who else can you talk to about, you know, the Joker than Batman, right?
Yep.
There's a lot that happens in this issue between him and Batman and Oracle.
We love Oracle.
Yes. And you know who Oracle is, yes?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Does everyone else? I don't read enough Batman to know. Does everybody else know who she is?
It's his daughter. It's Barbara Gordon.
I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, does everybody else know? Okay.
It's been she's still trying to figure out who she is, and that's kind of what she's been up to lately, and even in the regular Batman stuff. But like, she's been going by Oracle now for a while. I feel like that's who she's latching onto now instead of being Batgirl, which I love her as Oracle behind the scenes and everything. But man, I kind of miss her as Batgirl too. So And then in our punchline chapter in the back, in the first issue, we saw how the other prisoners are dealing with being in the same prison as, having Punchline come into this prison. And let's see. There's a prisoner who is back. But that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because it's the last page, and oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a cliffhanger then.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Don't spoil.
But it's somebody that I love.
I'm going to think about it now, see if I can figure out who it is.
Probably not.
It's been a few issues since I've gotten to read this, so I jumped back in to see if it's easy to catch back up, and it totally is. This is a thumbnail number 6 from Vault. It's got a very creepy town that this son and mom have ended up in. I think they go there in the first one because someone in their family passes and leaves them a house or cabin or something in that town. And what's kind of started, like you get to see little snippets of it. It's like, it's so unclear how many people actually know what's going on. But like in the last issue, issue 5, like they find a body that you could see that the injuries to it, the person that dies has a history of using drugs. So you can see all the drug
Track marks.
And there's something poking out of it. And everything about this makes it feel like the woods are alive, or it's something I don't know if it's the leaves or the trees or what. They're still doing a really good job of holding back the actual what's-its. So if you like a lot of
I already know.
lead up to and mystery of like supernatural but natural phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're a fan of Farmhand by Rob Guillory, or I'm trying to think, there's another one that has a family tree.
Yes.
But
yeah.
with spookies. This is a really good one. I just say. That's right. It never ends well because it always comes with something, especially if you inherit it. We've also learned that from the plot from Vault.
Yes. Yes.
Another great one.
Also, I love the art in the autumnal.
It's so beautiful. It's all those warm tones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Chris is the best.
I was so excited to read this number 2. This is Chariot number 2.
Yeah.
From AWA Upshot. Because when you kind of tease me with a book about a talking car, and I think, oh, okay, well, I loved Knight Rider when I was growing up, so I'm down for this. And I'm sure it'll be hokey. But they did something else. It's not as straight up, there's a talking car. It starts with a car that has a woman that died in it. And then this guy ends up finding or acquiring this car to fix it up, not knowing the history behind the car. And it comes with her ghost. So the car doesn't really talk to him. It's her ghost talking through the car. And that's the what you find out in the first issue. But also toward the end of it, you also find out that there is a woman who appears to be able to jack herself up with something and make herself young again. And have it's the character you see here on the front where she's really beautiful and looks like she's breathing through some kind of weird apparatus. That's her. I'm not really sure what her tie is to the car or the girl that died. But this is another instance in which it's there's a mystery that's getting unraveled along with all the action and fun that's going on in the series. And I really, really love this book. And if you like this, if you buy and like Chariot, also look at another cool series out there I think it's by Erica Lang, called The Crossing, where it's a really cool, another one a ghost interacting with a live human being, and there's all kinds of weird relational stuff that's going on. Even though one's dead, one's alive, it still is kind of like a romance, but not in the traditional sense.
Right.
So there's lots of really cool stuff out there that is like each other, but isn't the same at all. Like if you read them side by side, you'd be like, okay, these are totally different books, but the mood and tone of them are the same. So it's always nice to know what the next thing is to get if you like one of them. Oh, you picked up this book.
Why She Wrote. Let's see. So, how to explain it? So, it's a biographical graphic novel. There are, 18 women writers from the 18th, 19th, and early 20th century. It has portrait on the first page. It'll have their name, a portrait, and then I'll have a quote from one of their books.
Mm-hmm.
It has like a few paragraphs for a page of little bit about what the comic that follows is, and it's not a comic of of their works. It's a comic about either them before they wrote,
mm-hmm.
or sometimes it's like after they've written, and like how they've gotten some of their works published posthumously. That's
a horrible word.
Yes. And then it'll have a little bit more of not like sketches, but like some drawings that kind of more illustrate their life,
mm-hmm.
with some extra trivia, I guess, about them. And then it'll have some selected works. Because, of course, if you put all of their works, it's going to be way too much. But yeah, it's super educational. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I think it's also broken up into, so there's 3 for each chapter, and there are 6 chapters, and it has like for an example of a title for the chapter, The Horror of the Everyday. So, or activism as art. Some of them have like more about their personal lives.
Mm-hmm.
So Ann Lister is in it as well, with her code that she created, so that way she could have her diary. And I liked it a lot.
We both did this, yes?
Yes, we did.
You put them both there. Okay, we're gonna both talk about home number
Mm-hmm.
1. So this is a good mix, I think, between bringing like a heart and tale to something that's going on right now.
Yeah.
And this is really specifically about a woman who comes from Guatemala with her child. She's going to do everything the right way.
To the U.S.
To the United States.
Yeah.
So she's coming to do it the right way. She
Mm-hmm.
stops at the border to say to them, I want to enter the United States
Mm-hmm.
correctly. We are seeking asylum. Yep.
Yeah.
The husband's been killed
Mm-hmm.
by a drug gang and is after the young boy also. So, and she has a relative that's already in the United States that's a successful nurse, and she already has plans for where the kiddo's going to go to school. So it seems like this is a no-brainer, right? He's going to show up, fill out the paperwork, and everything's going to be okay. But that's not the way it works out in the book. So we'll let you guys kind of like live through that, because it's a very emotional thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then the book does not end the way you think it's going to, because it is not a straightforward tale about sad things that happen at the border. Something else is going on. So if you like a full right turn in your books at the end.
Oh, it was fantastic. I loved it.
So good.
Yeah. And I love the art, and I love that there's clear indications as to where they're speaking in Spanish and where they're speaking in English. I love that.
Yeah. And it 100% does not feel like you're being preached to, but it does make you think. It helps you like feel empathy because you like all good comic books, you were the character. Like when you're reading it, you always put yourself in the place of the character, so allows you empathy for that character. All right, and I'm going to talk about Dark Hawk, Heart of the Hawk #1. So really, you don't need to know a single thing about Dark Hawk to pick this up, because it is 3 stories that are strung straight together. As a matter of fact, you won't even notice you're reading 3 stories because it really just kind of like, you'll be reading part of the story and the next page will say now, or it'll say then. And those are the beginnings of new storylines, but it doesn't feel disjuncted like usually where it's like, here's a standalone story and here's a standalone story. It's 3 people telling progressively the exact same story. So they're all 3 really good. They help you understand the motivation for Dark Hawk, where he got his powers, where he is now in his life, and identifying with the character, how powerful or unpowerful he might be, and who he's had interactions with. So it's and it's a great tale. So, and the cool part about it is that I didn't realize this, and I guess I should have, is that the very last page, basically says that there is a full series of Dark Hawk that's going to be starting. So this is a great place to just jump into the universe so you know enough about this character. And what's so funny to me is that the character's name is the same name as one of the very high up guys at Diamond that I've known forever. And so every single time I see his name written down in the page, I'm just thinking about Chris Powell, who I've known for a long time and collects, tiki mugs. So it's kind of funny.
I didn't know that part.
I just did.
I'm gonna do Action Comics. So this is the second one of the Infinite Frontier. So in the first one, it's John and Clark being. You can't really call John Superboy because he's a grown man now.
Is he 18?
I can't remember
Still
how
boy,
long
then.
he was. He was gone, and it didn't. It was like barely any time on Earth, but he grew up.
I wish people that wrote comic books would be more patient for the young characters in them to have a natural progression.
Well, it's okay because we have this one.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, this was absolutely tied to. Oh gosh, I can't remember. There was the series with
Leviathan?
No, before that.
Something of Oz.
Yes, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because his grandfather takes him to, and I don't remember when exactly that happened, but it was like, I think it was tied to that. But I've read so many comics.
It's the Oz Effect.
Yeah, the Oz Effect, and so he knows about the future, but of course he can't just say things.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, I mean, what do you tell somebody that when they're going to die in their life?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why you don't want to know those things.
Exactly.
However tempting it might be to know about yourself or others, it's a bad idea.
Right. But it wasn't his choice because he, was in the future after it had happened, So now he's faced with this knowledge and knowing that in the first part of this is part 2 in the last issue, he knows that Clark's death is coming up. And so he's having to figure out in this issue, because they fought off the monsters that they were fighting. And so now he's like, do I tell him?
Trying to think if I can remember whether things in the DC universe that get kind of like foreseen actually 100% happen the way they're supposed to. Because they haven't in Marvel always.
Right.
So I'm thinking of Ulysses and his foreseeing of Miles killing Captain America, and that didn't go down.
And that one also has a story featuring Midnighter, but I don't know a whole lot about Midnighter, so I couldn't remember.
Let's get the hots for Apollo, yo!
I know, but I couldn't remember what had happened in the first one.
I know that's not the defining characteristic of a character, but I think it's adorable.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, so excited about this book. Jules Verne's Lighthouse.
Yes.
I am 100% that this is not the way it was written by Jules Verne. Although maybe it was, because this takes place. I'm so used to Jules Verne taking place, in the ocean. But this one takes place in space. This book is big and thick, and you will enjoy reading it so much. You won't want to put this thing down. It's full of, subtext story. But the main storyline is really about the lighthouse itself is a giant kind of like building that is on an asteroid. The asteroid's called the Reef. And within the lighthouse is this super thinking computer, which this configuration of the Reef and lighthouse are in the middle of this giant section of space that has a whole bunch of black holes and thus a bunch of wormholes. And so it just kind of like helps ships with their trajectories to make it safely through here, because this is where people kind of like, it's almost like the gateway to all places. They kind of go through this thing. But it's about the main character is a female who has a robot companion who has been the protector of her and her mother before her and her grandmother before that. So this is a generational thing. It's about the crew and about some crazy stuff that happens to make everything go wrong. So just delve right into the universe. Don't look at it as, it's Jules Verne, it's going to look old. It won't feel one bit old to you. This is very much future sci-fi. It just happens to be from the crazy good mind of Jules Verne. So pick up Lighthouse tomorrow for sure.
I'm going to do my Super Sons. Challenge of the Super Sons, which is the 3rd volume of Super Sons, I think. 4th one. And so there's time travel in this book, a magic scroll, and our Super Sons.
Brian.
I think that's really all I need to say. They've, they're back to their hijinks. I've been waiting for it.
I don't know if you have to do a bunch of selling on Super Sons.
No,
it's always good, no matter what.
Yeah.
They know they've got us.
It doesn't take place in continuity with everything else, and especially with Damien. But it's a much better. I think I like this one the most so far.
Ooh, perfect.
I think it's just because their relationship has grown so much that because before they seemed more like John wanted to be more friends with Damien than Damien wanted to be with him, and now they're like, it's just the two of them just hanging out.
Yeah.
So
I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about Darkhawk, the writer of the very first of the series stories that's in there had a sit-down interview with Kyle just before we aired this part. So it's actually ready for view. If you get done with watching your viewing day on the experience, you want to go back and hop and see what the writer had to say about the whole thing, you should absolutely. And also Brian Haberlin's in the room right now, who is responsible for this beauty of the Lighthouse.
Yes.
You should follow him on social media. He posts so much great stuff. Just original artwork that he's
So
working
pretty.
on, behind the scenes things. He's I don't know what I would do without being able to follow and look at that art. All right, Phantom on the Scan. This is a number 1 out of Aftershock by Cullen Bunn. I don't know when Cullen sleeps, but I don't think he does. Pretty sure he's a vampire. So Phantom on the Scan is a really weird story.
He does do a lot of the horror, so it makes sense that he would be a vampire.
It still is. So, when I read the pitch for this, it basically said this is the stuff that happens after a comet comes by and causes some crazy stuff to happen. But it's weird. The book itself almost doesn't even mention it. It shows it coming by in the sky, but doesn't have any words talking about it. So unless they had given that to me in the pitch, I wouldn't have necessarily known that was what was going on. And then everything just kind of goes what they call pear-shaped. Just crazy. There are like ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ghost child that follows the main character around, and I don't know if this ghost child gives this guy his power or just happens to be around. I cannot wait for the second issue so I can find out more about it. But this is really, it is Cullen Bunn, kind of like intelligent horror is what I would call it. So don't miss that one. And then
I read that one too.
Yep, I got to sit down with the writer of Duplicate yesterday. That interview is also on the Experience.
Yep.
And saved, so you can watch that if you want. But the thing that I didn't know before, I did a little research before that interview, was that she actually wrote what was the inspiration for Duplicate, which was called Duplicate, I think, as a pitch for TV. And so it exists as a pitch, but then it ended up being a comic book instead. I think that's really cool because she actually does writing for TV. So she does a bunch of those kinds of fun stuff. Why is it called pear-shaped? I don't know, but it's called pear-shaped. I've heard it called pear-shaped all the time. Pear, I don't know. And pear doesn't make any sense either, because that's the same as a guitar. Why not guitar-shaped, I guess, at that point. So Duplicate is a story in which there is a big pandemic that destroys people's organs, just like random ones. So if you get it, then like your lungs fail or something else. And there's a scientist who's trying desperately to solve the problem of whatever this pandemic is. But meanwhile, the government / private corporations have figured out a way to make 3D organs and have made it illegal to have transplanted organs. If you can't afford your 3D organ, it's fine. They will sell you as a slave until you can pay off that debt.
Kind of like repo.
Yeah, kind of like repo, but in this case, they don't even repo you. You just have to do whatever they say until that debt's paid off. And the main character, I think, is kind of going to be the impetus for, I don't know that they know the full implications of what's going on to the people. I think they know that they're being auctioned off, but they don't know what people are asking them to do.
Right.
I guess it would be okay to say I get to live, but I have to wash dishes for 20 years, but I'm alive. But it very much feels like they're, because of the rule of not allowing them to do human organ transplant, it feels very much that they're fixing the system so that they have to get these organs. So anyway, read it. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. And I agree, Charlie. Carla is the sweetest person. She's so sweet and very, very talented. Where are we? You're good. Go ahead. Scooby-Doo! So we got like really short time. We got 3.
So this is the first one, and Batman calls in the Scooby Gang to help solve a mystery because
are they really going to do detectioning finally?
Yes. Because someone has stolen something from Batman. From
cell phone,
gloves.
string of pearls.
Gloves.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Are they Samsonite?
Nope, just regular gloves.
All right, I'm gonna go real fast. Do my last 3 because we talk too much because we like talking about comics.
Yeah, we
It's
do.
our bad. Kanto in the City of Giants is a very sweet beginning of a new series for Kanto. In this one, he has in tow with him a witch that he wants to go and have him do magic to free these giants that he knows from other parts of his adventures who have been buried up to their neck by other giants because of things that happened to them before. So if you've read the series before, you might know what those things are. I thought I would just laugh my way through this and not think it was any good, but like everything else in this world, haha on Jen.
Yeah.
This is from Zenoscope, Man, Goat, and the Bunny Man, which is an adorable look at a buddy. It's not even a buddy cop, but a buddy kind of, I don't know what you call it. It's a buddy story in which the man goat gets lots of girls because he looks almost like a man. And the bunny can't get any girls because he looks just like a bunny, and it's kind of creepy. But then they're trying to figure out the mystery of this missing girl who's been abducted by a cult. So it's all dark, just like Zenoscope sometimes is, but it's also really funny because, it's a man goat and a bunny man. And Jenny Zero, #1 party monster, is all about this girl who spends her day, it looks like, coked up and boozed up, and in the past at some point has been the hero of her people by helping defend some weird creatures, and they show up and give her weapon while she's still super blitzed and have her go out and fight the new big kaiju-y thing that shows up, which is amazing. Wait till you see what her weapon looks like. Your mind's going to be like, say what now? What a who? So I'll let you experience that craziness.
All right. Eros and Psyche #2. It took a turn. So they're at the school. They've gone through their all of their tests and stuff, and when one of the other girls at the school, they find her dead after being invited to the room, which they mentioned something about the room, but that you still don't even know after this issue what happens in the room, but you know that
everything that she writes is sexy time, so.
But there's a little bit of a, not really like a mystery because they're trying to solve it, but not really. Like, one of them knows what goes on in the room because she's been there for so long at the school. But it's so good. It's so good. I just can't wait for more.
All right, we're out of time because we love these books so much. Thank you to Charlie and Mr. Starnes and to Brian Haberlin for joining us, all those great guests. Hey, Los, this is not a selling show. We're just reviewing the books, yo. You're going to have to find us in another place for that. If you are looking for a place to buy these and other awesome books that release tomorrow, please use the comic shop locator.com to find it. Why do I put book in there every time? I have no idea. Probably because I just said comic book 10 times right before it.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on The Experience. I've been Miss Jen, and this has been
Miss Hannah.
And we'll see you next time for Minute to Skim It.